Howdy folks, welcome to Katie Phillips Scrapbook Designs. I'm Katie and this is my little crafty area. Today we're going to finish the final fin of the Vaporwave Dreams mini album. And for this page, I'm going to do a closure I've never done before. I've got obviously a mock-up here, but this is going to be a belt type closure, and one of the reasons that I decided to try to mock up a belt closure like this one is because some of the other ones that I've done in the past, this piece here that slides along has a tendency to just fall off. So I thought I would design one where this is not going to happen. So we have the base page, which is 6 3/4 by 6 1/4, and we have this flap left over from cutting the base page. We've also got a couple of other little scraps left over, and these are all scraps that are left from trimming out either flaps on fin number 3 or in other parts of the album. So I'm going to try to use up as many of the scraps as I could, and these scraps are one of the reasons why I decided to do a flap with this type of closure, because just looking at those, I thought, you know, a belt closure would be really good right now. And for the pattern paper for this album, we're using the Neon Nightlife collection from Recollections. So first thing I want to do, I definitely need to trim this scrap. It's, how wide is it? 4 3/4 inches wide. I need to trim the height to 6, and we're going to go with 6 7/8 inches tall, and we're going to put an 8-inch gusset on this flap. Let's go ahead and trim this to 6 7/8. And we're going to need to trim these pieces down to, let's see, I want to need to add 1/2 inch to whatever we do. And I think I want to come out to about the 5-inch mark in that direction. So we're going to do 5 1/2 inches. Actually, we're going to do 5 5/8 because we're going to be putting an 1/8 inch gusset. Save that scrap and use that scrap for the other side. 4. So that is going to be this piece here, piece number 1. Piece number 2 is going to be a little narrow strip. It won't be very long. Probably use, yeah, I'll probably use this piece here, and we're going to cut it to this piece as the buckle. So it needs to be at least 2 inches. Actually, it probably needs to be about, we're going to run it about 1 inch short. So 5 5/8, so we're going to go with 4 5/8. And we need one piece that is, it's hidden here, you can't really see it, but it's securing the sliding element to piece number 2 here. And that needs to be 1 3/4. So 3 1/2, we're going to go with 4 inches long. So this piece is 2 1/4, and we need the buckle to wrap all the way around and have an overlap. So I cut it to 5 inches. 5 inches. Let's get the buckle pieces scored. We're going to set this aside. Here is the 5 3/8 inch piece. We're going to score it at 1/2 inch and 5/8. Here is the 5 5/8 inch piece. We're going to score it 1/2 inch and 5/8. All right, for real this time, I'm gonna score this at 1/2 inch. So 1/2 inch, inch and a half, 2 1/2 inches, 2 3/4, 1/2 inches, 2 3/4. Of course, now that's causing that to buckle up. So we're going to shave 1/8 of an inch off of both of these. Let's see if that fits any better. We need to make sure they will both fit in there, and they do. So that's good to go. So this is the 4 1/2 inch, well, 4 5/8 inch piece. So we're going to score it at 1/2 inch and 3 5/8. Let's double check the fit. Yep, that'll work. And we're going to score this side at 1/2 inch. So the actual score lines for this one are at 1/2 inch and 2 1/4. But I'm actually going to move this 2 1/4 one out to 2 3/8. Remember, the theme for this album is designing on the fly. All right, now to assemble everything. I'm trying to think what order this needs to go in. So I need to assemble this piece first, and then glue this piece on, and then attach it to this piece. So let me go ahead and mat this piece and then assemble the buckle. So what did we end up with here? We ended up with 1 5/8 by 1, sorry, not 1 5/8, 3 5/8 by 1 3/4. That's 3 5/8, that's 3 3/8. by 1.5. This ended up being 1 or 2.25 squared. So we're going to go with 2-inch squared mats for this piece. This could get a little bit tricky. So I need to glue this piece down underneath that piece. So but I don't want to glue the buckle together all the way across. So I'm going to set this aside and let it dry. But at the end of all that, I want to thread this piece here underneath this piece right here. I'm not even sure if that's gonna be visible. So I got this piece right here, and I need to get this piece slid under here. Which of these pieces was longer? This one is longer by just a hair. Got it going the wrong way there for a second. Okay. So I need the mat facing out, but still slide it underneath that piece. This piece. Now, before I glue this piece here down, I want to make sure that this is going to slide freely. And I want to make sure that it's going to slide enough that this piece will come loose. If it's not, then we can trim this piece up. All right, so 1/2 inch and 3/4 inch. Ideally, we're going to want this piece to be able to slide all the way to the center, and that's actually, we're not clearance there. So I'm going to trim about 1.5 inches off of this one. So now the measurement is right at, you know what, we're going to go with 3 3/4. And be able to close just like that. So let's go ahead and glue, slide that all the way to the side, flip that out. Glue. And you're going to want to keep this as straight as possible. And if I had thought about it, I would have, and I may go ahead and add like a strip of paper right there, a strip of pattern paper, and a strip over here. Alright, now I'm going to figure out the matting for both of these pieces. Alright, I had to go read some people the riot act because we've got some people doing some work on our well out here, and I knew they were coming to do work out here, and they were told that I was here working from home, and they still cut power to the house without talking to me first. So that was not awesome. But while the power was out, I did do a little bit of prep work for the next steps. So I've got the mats completed for the rest of this belt. And this mat is 2 7/8 inches long or wide by 1 7/8 inches tall. And this one is the same. These are 1 7/8 inches tall, and this one is a 1/2 inch wide. Yep, 1/2 inch wide, and I think this one is a 1/4 inch. Yep, 1/4 inch. And I've got one more roaming around here somewhere. Again, 1 7/8 inches tall by 4 3/4 inches wide. And I cut some other mats too, but we'll get to those measurements in just a sec. Let's go ahead and get these glued down so that I don't lose anything. Starting with the little pieces first. All right, next up we have the mat for this flap that's going to mount to the top. And that mat is 4.5 inches by 6. Yep, 4.5 by 6. And since I don't need to scoot it around and I'm not expecting to have any significant weight on it, I'm just going to use double-sided tape. Because it's less messy. So this one we are scoring at 1/8 of an inch and 1/2 an inch. And I've got another mat for the front. It's the same size as the first mat. It's just with pink flamingos instead of palm fronds or whatever those are. Elephant ears. That's what we called them. We called them elephant ears when I was a kid. Thought I would add this just, and you know what? I'm thinking this would be a cute little band or pocket. See, I was originally gonna put a pocket on this side, and I think I may just put a pocket on this side. And we're just gonna glue it down on 3 sides. And I'm mounting this flap just inside the score line. So I've got a score line here, and I'm mounting just inside this score line right here. And in order to get the placement of this piece correct, I'm going to go ahead and slide that in there because I want it to line up correctly. That lines up correctly. Let's go ahead and burnish that down. I'm going to glue this top flap down. depending on what kind of scraps you've got, you could always add like a little pocket right in here. That would be cute. I may go back and add a pocket just like made out of pattern paper. That is it for page number 7. And it just holds everything closed. All right, so we're on the very last page, and these are pretty much all the scraps that we have left. These are mostly 110 pounds. So this is all 110 pound. These are the only 65 pound scraps that I've got left. So on fins 1 and 2, I had acetate elements on both of those. So I think I want to add an acetate element. I'm also going to use this page as a flip out. So it's going to be just a hair shorter, I think, than the rest. Nope, it's going to be the exact same height. I'm going to trim this down just a little bit, and yeah, let's go ahead and trim that down now. I'm going to trim a 1/4 of an inch off of it, so that it's, actually I'm going to trim 3/8 of an inch off of it. And we're going to score this 1/2 inch. And for this piece is 8.5 inches. I think we're going to do a maybe a 3.5 by 3.5 frame. So I know we need 1/2 inch where it meets at the base page. Oh, what is that? 4 3/4. Okay, we're going to end up trimming this down a little bit. So this is 4 inches. And I'm going to need at least a 1/2 inch here. So now this width is 7.5 inches. So we can do 3 3/4. So at 4 1/4. And we're going to trim the height to 3 3/4 as well. Just double checking all that looks good. Now we need to cut out a frame here. So this is 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. And I think we want 2 3/4. We could end up with a 3 by 3 photo matted inside a 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. I'm going to go on the inside here and mark a 1/2 inch and 1/2 inch. And draw a line between the two. Now, because this is 1/2 inch, I need to go to 1 inch. And I need 2 marks at 1 inch. This mark here is at 4 1/4, so I need to make a mark Next bit, you're going to want a metal ruler because box cutters and craft knives can shave plastic off, and then your ruler will no longer be straight. I obviously need to do a lot more practicing with this technique. If you want to see somebody who's really good at this, check out Scrap and Coffee. She is really good at creating acetate frames. Let's do a 3x3 acetate window. And I'm going to need to use 1/8 inch tape for this. Now we need an image to go underneath. So let's see what we got. We've pretty much used all of these already. And all of those are too big anyway. We've used everything that isn't too big. But we're going to reuse one of these. frame. And what do I want to do for the frame? So these are about 3/4 of an inch wide. And we're going to need 1/4 inch strips all the way around. And we said it was what? 3 3/4 inches wide. This is 2 3/4. So we're going to go 2 3/4 by 1/4. And it's 3 3/4, so we're going to go 3 1/2 by 1/4. Tip-in frame done. Let's get this piece. You know what I was gonna do? We're not gonna do the border. We're gonna magnetize this. So we are going to mat the back. So this is what happens when you're designing as you go. It's my design considerations right now are basically what size scraps of solid black cardstock do I have in front of me. And it's not because I'm running low, it's just because I'm wanting to challenge myself, really. Right, so we need a mat, and this mat needs to be 3 1/2 by 3 1/2. Now it looks like I did that on purpose. For this side, what do I want to do? What do I want to do? I think I may just have to be okay with letting these scraps go. Because it's just barely too short. Well, this one I could turn into a little pocket. I might just do that. Now, what dimensions are this scrap again? I'm looking at 5 and like 5/16. So we're gonna call it 5 1/4, 6 1/4. So we're gonna want 5 by 6. And we're going to want 2 of those. The one that's going to go on the outside, I'm going to glue that down. to do, I've got to put the magnets down. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sacrifice a 3x4 card here. A stronger set of magnets. These magnets are a little bit thicker and consequently a little bit stronger. And that's going to grip through. Make sure these are going to work. All right, now we just need to mat everything. So if you're following along at home, put the magnets down on this side before you do this. Otherwise you're going to have to use thicker magnets, and that's going to create a little extra bulk. And I'm not a big fan of these thicker magnets. So for the last page, I'm going to cut a mat that is 5 3/4 by 6. We need I'm going to use this scrap here. Let's see how tall and how wide do we need to trim it. So that is 1 7/8. So we need to go 1 5/8 by 5, so 4 3/4. So 1 7/8 by 4 3/4. Hopefully I don't have a full card. This video is getting a little bit long, so I'm not going to be doing any embellishing in this video. I'm just going to finish off this piece. Make sure we get the hearts right side up. Oh man, I need to come down to 1 5/8. Okay, 1 5/8. And you know, if you really wanted to, you could actually leave this one section without any adhesive on it, instead of fighting with it like I am. And then it would be a hidden pocket. All right, let's try this again. I think we're out of memory just about. All right, we're getting to the end of the battery, and memory card already filled up once. So I've added the page into the album. That's going to do it for this video. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I release new videos like this every, I think it's Friday and Sunday now. Not sure, it's twice a week. And also, if you enjoyed it, hit that like button. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask them in the comment section down below. And all the materials will be listed in the description box. So we will see you guys next time. Bye.